Hi friends, Season 13 has really mixed up the meta in Apex Legends. So, what is the meta this season? That's what I'm going to look at today, and I'll look at the Legend meta, the Weapon meta, and the Ranked meta so far in Apex Legends Season 13. Because understanding the meta can help you win more games, but also just feel more comfortable in games. Let's start with the Weapon meta. Welcome to Spitfire Legends. You can see this season everyone is rocking the Spitfire because it's so strong and it just doesn't stop firing. I had games where teams were triple stacking Spitfires and they were just spam firing endlessly, and there's not much you can do in those situations apart from get out. Unfortunately, they didn't really nerf the Spitfire as much as they could have, given it was coming out of the care package, and this means it's one of the most annoying weapons in Apex Legends this season. And I really think the Spitfire will carry on being the meta this season until it's nerfed. And if you disagree with me, check out this clip. A 54,000 kill Bangalore that clearly gets Predator every split, not just once a season, but twice a season, and I downed her with a Spitfire in a 1v1. That's a perfect example of why the Spitfire is meta this season, because if it's a weapon that allows you to 1v1 a 54,000 kill Predator and win, that's why everyone's using it. Now, I'm not saying it's a good thing for the game, nor the weapon meta in general. It's just a sad fact that the Spitfire this season, or right now at least, is the meta. I do have a funny feeling they will nerf it at some point this season though. Let's move on to Legend meta, the rise of the defensive legends. With the introduction of Newcastle as the new legend in Season 13, it feels like this season is the season for defensive legends. You see, Gibraltar was always strong coming into Season 13, and most of the high performing teams had a Gibraltar in their comp. But Newcastle's introduction as a really strong legend, not to mention Rampart's buff to her walls and ultimate, means these defensive legends are really strong this season. I'm certainly seeing a lot of teams rocking either a Gibraltar, a Newcastle, or even a Rampart. To go with this, of course, movement legends are still very useful, and until the maps change and the way Apex Legends is played changes, I think movement legends will always be the meta as well. Especially on Stormpoint, which is the ranked map for this split, where there's just such a great value to having a vertical movement legend. And that's why Valk, Ashe and Horizon are very useful and still meta. So that's a bit about Legend meta. Let's move on to Ranked meta. Now this has changed completely this season due to Ranked Reloaded. You see, the Season 11 Ranked meta was to basically chase as many kills as you could because placements didn't matter much. Last season in Season 12, it was still to get as many kills as you could, but if you could finish in the top 10 then great, but if not, then it's not the end of the world. This season, however, it's all about placements, because if you get kills outside of the top 10, then those kills are essentially worthless if you die too early. And this has created a slower ranked meta with slower gameplay and more teams trying to focus on the top 10 and even the top 5. I'm certainly finding more teams surviving in the final zones than before, especially in lower ranks like gold, silver and bronze, where it always used to be very rare to have 5 squads competing in the final ring. This season is the opposite though, where it's almost rare to not have 5 squads in the final zone. I would also say this has kind of split the ranked meta in Season 13, because the smart people play like this to try and get those placements and get the most points possible. Not all of them are campers, but there are definitely some campers out there who just kind of sit there with Spitfires or long range weapons just because of the way the point system works this season. However, I am finding a lot of the teams are also just slowing down their games, and they're not necessarily camping buildings, but they are certainly moving and rotating a lot slower, and they just take fights along the way rather than chasing down fights. And this is where the meta splits, because you do still have a bunch of zero brain cell meta players who have no idea how the point system works, they think it's still Season 11, and they just run around the map trying to chase kills. Now, I'm not saying this isn't a fun thing to do, but the fact of the matter is, that's not how the new system works. You see, you could get a 20 bomb outside of the top 10 and still end up being negative. However, you do need to still get some kills because placements alone won't help you much with the new entry costs that have been introduced for ranked. So I think the ranked meta at the moment is kind of divided between players that actually understand how to earn RP this season and players that seem not to. And I've certainly had my experience as a solo ranked climber of players that just have no idea what they're doing. They're still chasing kills when there's still 19 squads left, and if they end up dying, then you're going to be massively negative even if you manage to pick up a few kills early on. So at the moment I think that's how the ranked meta is looking, just purely because of the new point system. And unfortunately for you solo players out there like me, this is going to be a tough one, because if you get those zero brain cell players, it's really not going to help you with this new system. Anyway, that's the meta across Apex Legends Season 13, at least from my experience so far. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.